I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night and still have begged for more. Hi, Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with Astrology Mojo. And I want to help you get your mojo back. And one of the ways we're going to do that is talk about your complaint. What's your complaint? I have a method for you today to help you work that out so we can get out of the loop. The thing that you go over and over and over and over and over again. You know, because Mars is now in Aries. Aries. And it will be there. Okay, if you're watching this in a replay and you're on YouTube and it's Christmas time in 2020, Mars is going to be in Aries with one short stint of a retrograde in Aries. July 6th, 2020 through January 6th, 2021. Yeah, it normally spends about 6 weeks in a sign. Now it's going to be 6 months. 6 months. Red rum. Mars and Aries, what does it mean? Well, I talked about that the other day. And, hey, it says waiting for the live video. So I don't know what that means. Either I'm not being recorded or Mercury and a million other planets are in retrograde, and I don't know. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Am I back again? There I am. Now I can see myself. Three Stooges. Okay, so hey, Sasha's here. You caught me live at last. Live at last. I'm going live at last. Okay, so Mars and Aries. I talked about it for each of the sun, rising, and moon signs in the last show. So catch up on that replay and listen to your sun, rising, moon sign. And also if you have Saturn and Mars in those sun, rising, and moon signs, you'll find it very instrumental. I'm flipping up some cards here while I organize my thoughts. We're going to do a method today. Oh, by the way, if you haven't heard of me and you don't know me, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it because I'm here every Monday and Thursday, mostly, on Facebook. And then I post these videos to YouTube so that you can get the best. Who is that? I was singing it all morning. You got the best of me. Is it Katie? Yeah. So you get the best of healing tools, methods, techniques, concepts, so you can get out of the loop that keeps you stuck, the stuckness that is so sticky that you're mired in victimization, or woe is me, or I can't change this, or I'm frustrated, or I need to do something different to make my life better. Okay, so in astrology, if you don't know me, then you don't know that I'm about to say, that in astrology, the planets don't do anything to you, that we live in a cooperation with the cosmos, so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. And when you make a move, the planets reflect that by way of aspects and angles in astrology. So astrology tells you, I have to get a battery for my watch, but I'm waiting for the retrograde to be over. Astrology tells you what time it is. So what time is it? It's now. It's always now. And in the now, you get to choose who you want to be and who you want to project and what you want to do with it. So yeah, this is transformational astrology. This is utilizing the definitions not to say, oh, you have Mars in Libra, you can never make a decision and you squelch your anger. Well, maybe that's true of people with Mars in Libra. But does it mean that's who you are forever? No. It means you have a potential to grow, to change, to express, to act, to think. Not just about Mars and Libra, but any planet, anywhere. You have the potential. So as you grow and change, so do the definitions in astrology, and they need to, because they're not doing it to you. Got it? I'm just going to keep saying that until, then you can say, well, let me think about that. Yeah, because if they're not doing it to me, then I have some kind of power. Then if I have some kind of power, why do I feel so bad? Or why am I complaining? Ding dong, the witch is dead. And that's what we're talking about today, Mars and Aries. Mars and Aries. Let's stop the complaint. So I want to hear from you people. And I'll keep checking in for the next 30 minutes or so. I want to hear, what is the major complaint that you have? Not, oh, those people, those politicians. Okay, you have no control over other people. But if you are in a relationship with someone and your constant thread of, chatter is, well, they don't do this or they don't do that. Okay, well, I want to hear that. It's not about them, ultimately, you know that, right? It's about you and what you're willing to withstand or what you're not expressing. So that sometimes people will tell their best friend, their sister, somebody else, a counselor, instead of telling the person. With Mars and Aries in the next 6 months, it's about taking decisive action. And then between September 9th and November 13th, I think, Mars goes retrograde in Aries. So then you're going to be like, oh, yeah, let me just think on that, if that's true for me, and revisit your frustrations. Now, it's not just about frustrations. It's also about getting on a really good, healthy exercise program that involves a lot of moving your shoulder. No, it can be about going after your dream, championing a cause, really being moved emotionally by no longer needing to be stagnant. Okay? That's what it's about. So the complaint, what is the complaint? What's the complaint that you have? I grew up hearing my father always say, oh, I made a mistake. That was his number one complaint. I made a mistake. He would do whatever he did, fixing something around the house, and he was so handy. Or talking to someone, or reading directions, or putting something together. At the end of it all, he would always end with, oh, I made a mistake. And what I think he was really saying was he felt like he was a mistake. And that's when you go from guilt, like, oh, I made a mistake, whoops, you go from guilt to shame. So I want you to be really aware of, what are you complaining about? This card just flipped out. Oh, we are all one. We are all one. Okay? That's what we are. And so anytime we are separate from that oneness, body, mind, spirit, we feel that something's niggling, something's bothering me. Now, you may be so intuitive that you're picking up on the waves of everything around you. Anytime someone would say to me, oh, can I talk to you? And I would get this, uh-oh, I did something wrong. Right? I heard always, I made a mistake. And then I translated that into, I did something wrong. And sometimes people would say to me, I just want to say, those cookies you made, oh my God, they were great. Or I was just wondering if I could borrow your scissors or your pruning shear. And so I would think to myself, and this is when I was in my 20s and 30s, and I'm 60 now, and I would think to myself, why do I feel like I'm about to be scolded all the time in my 20s and 30s? So I came up with this technique, and it's very simple to do. If you're not telling me right now, if you're not sharing with me live what your complaint is, I want you to think about the annoyance, and the complaint doesn't have to be about another person. I have my fan on because it's 100 degrees here. So my hair is like windblown and all Breck looking. So the complaint doesn't have to be about another person. It can be, why do I, or why can't I, or why won't I? Fill in the blank. So Sasha says, my biggest complaint is, why does my son's father manipulate my son against me to the point of preteen child who will not speak to me. Well, we can't talk about another person's behavior. Why? We don't know why. So what's your complaint? That you don't have a relationship with your son? If that's the complaint, because you think someone is undermining you, then let's take it a step further. And this is the process that I would like you to go through. For anyone thinking about making any transition or starting something new or going for their dream or, grabbing the gusto and going for the ring, on the merry-go-round, what is the thing that gives you the most joy? You write that down on a piece of paper. What gives you the most joy? And then what is your greatest fear? And a lot of times the relationships that we have to other people come back to, you could trail it back to, if you could leave a chemtrail of, energetic color, like Sasha's, my child will not speak to me. Well, that's up to you and your child. That is not about the other person. And you might say, well, topically, they're whispering, poison into their ear and saying things about me. And the best you can do is have a relationship with someone and be who you are and not try to convince them of who you are not, right? So if you have a complaint, a person has a complaint about anything, about someone outside of you, you have to ask yourself, number one, what is it? Let me distill it down to a feeling. What's the feeling I get? I feel disempowered. I feel invalidated. I feel overruled. I feel angry. So you need to distill it down to the one thing. And then you circle that word on a piece of paper. So you've got your greatest joy, your greatest fear, and the one complaint that you have, but you need to distill it down because it's not about changing other people. And a lot of times people spend way too much time trying to change their behavior or trying to get them to see who you are or who you are not. The best and most you can do is be who you are in as many moments as possible. That's the best and most you can do and be. And so with the exercise, on a sheet of paper, you write down your greatest joy, okay? Then you have your greatest fear. Now, what's your greatest complaint? And at the time that I was developing this exercise, my greatest complaint was about my mother. And so, of course, I had to turn it around, and I would look at, why does she lie? My mother lied. She would lie. Now, I don't know why. To feel better, it didn't matter, because I had to turn it around and make it about me, because I'm the one with the issue. She had no problem. I'm the one with the issue. So I wrote down, okay, on a list, there's the joy, the fear, and then my greatest complaint, my mother lied a lot. And how did I feel about that? Well, I was irked. I was annoyed. I felt betrayed. These are the things that, and they may not make sense because they're like puzzle pieces. So then what I did when I developed this exercise was I wrote a list of, first I put the person's name. Okay, mom. You could put Jerry. You could put sister, brother, lover, ex, boss, employee. It doesn't matter. You put the person's name and 3 things underneath them that bother you the most. Distill it down to a word. Insecure, arrogant, incompetent, wishy-washy. Like, pick those things that you look and you go, why? And so I wrote liar. And then after that, I wrote fearful. And then after that, I don't remember the third one, honestly. I did this 30 years ago. Okay, so once you get down the behavior, 1, 2, 3, at least 3, then you draw a line down the middle, and on the other side, you write, number 1, I am a liar. Is that true? No, I'm not a liar, but you need someone to check this with. So I went to my husband, and he was sitting on the couch, And I left my office and I went into the living room and I said to Dean, "Do I lie?" And he said, "No, you don't lie." And I was like, "Okay." And I said, "Please be kind when we're validating this. Please be kind." And he said, "You don't lie, but you embellish." And I went, "Oh, that's a form of lying. Yikes, when do I do that?" And he pointed it out to me. When we had major company and I would tell stories, I would add on and embellish. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, so now I've got my list in front of me. I've got my paper. Mom, liar. Am I? No, but I embellish. So that's a form of it. And then what I did was the very next moment I had the urge to embellish on a story. I shut my mouth. I took a deep breath in because that's the moment that is ripe for healing and transformation. So we had company and we were telling stories about vacations and adventures and I said things that made people laugh, and I realized that that's when I wanted to embellish, to make them laugh even more, to give them joy, to entertain them. And I thought, okay, I don't need to lie or embellish to do that. So I stopped it, and I was aware of stopping it in the moment. So I want you to become aware of that behavior that you have that matches your parents' behavior, your lover's behavior, your friend's behavior. But when I start with parents is because for most people, those are the first role models you have in the world. They are the people who raised you. You watch their behavior and you emulate their behavior on some level, or you totally rebel against it and do the opposite. Either way, you have an extreme. So then what I did, I noted the behavior for my mom. I saw it in me, but I talked to a trusted person who could be kind and let me know that. Why is this video cutting out? Okay, I think it came back again. So, and then I thought, okay, embellish. All right, I'm going to stop doing that. I'm just going to tell the story the way I would tell a story, and yes, be funny or not or whatever, but not to go further and add to it because there was no need for that. So the next one was fearful. Well, am I fearful? Sure, like anyone else. So I thought, well, in what way? Because my mother, unfortunately, had a lot of fears, but she had a hard life, and I don't judge her at all. We healed, we still communicate. So it's all good. But this was for the purpose of healing 30 years ago when I did this exercise. And then I realized, okay, the very next moment I am afraid. How do I respond? Well, it depends on the situation. So fear fear is an umbrella word for many different things. It could be you're afraid of dying, of getting sick, or that your kids, are harmed, or, there's so many types of fears. But when you're actually feeling a fear, and I did this again, I've always been afraid of water, and I had a fear of being in an ocean, not so much being in a pool or a lake, but an ocean. And so, when the fear came up, and there I was in an ocean, and I was lying on my back, and like the terror, all kinds of terror came up, like, I was going to be eaten by a shark, or I was going to drown, or I was going to get washed into a jetty and hit my head and drown. I think all of the scenarios ended in me drowning. And so what I did was I laid on my back and I was floating in a beautiful place. We were on vacation. I was floating. And I faced the fear in a way that was, I'm going to breathe through it. And every time a negative thought came in, I would reverse it and do a positive. I'm supported. I actually imagined that the ocean was conscious and it was buoyant and it was holding me and surrounding me and protecting me. So that I got through that. Okay. So whatever the fear is, or the complaint, I'm sorry, not the fear, but whatever the complaint is, you're going to distill it down to a word. And that word you're going to find is like a little mini motion picture projector, and it keeps projecting out the same image, the same image, the same image, or the same frequency. And so then you keep attracting the same, the same, the same. Does that make sense? So Sasha says, thank you. I'm going to continue to be who I am. So trying to convince everyone who I am not. Right. Exactly. You came in on arrogant? Yes. Arrogance, Casey. No. We're just talking about distilling down the complaint that a person might have that keeps revolving the pattern over and over and over again. Rikara, sent home sick from work, but I'm here. I hope you're okay. Are you feeling all right? You work in a hospital? Yes? Question mark. I do that. I do speech to text on my phone. And so when I'm talking to my friends or my kid, I always end with a question, like I have to say question mark for it to show up. And it's becoming a habit. So I asked my husband a question this morning. I said, oh, do you want some tea? Question mark. So it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I've rewired my brain for speech to text, which doesn't always get my words right anyway. So Casey says, embellishment is the trademark of a writer. Thank you for saying that, because that's where I decided to take all the melodramatic drama stuff and put it in my writing. That's where I would put it. So I could story tell there and then embellish as much as I want to. Okay. So, you've been COVID testing patients all day. Nice deep breath. And thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I know you have a family, and this is not easy for so many people who are literally putting their health on the line to help other people. So thank you, Rikara. I'm glad you tested negative. Keep safe, everyone. I mean, you know that, right? Because especially here in Arizona, numbers have gone up. This is, I believe, the third wave. Originally, my father told me there would be 4 or 5 waves around the world. And I think here in America, we're in the third wave, second to third wave. So we still have some ways to go before we all settle and heal and, find our rhythm. Okay? Okay. So the complaint. If you're just joining us, hi, Elaine Marolakos Edelson, and we're talking about how to utilize the complaint that you might have about yourself. It's not so much about other people, but if it is about someone else, you need to distill it down to, you can't change somebody else. You just can't. You can have conversation, you can tell people how you feel, but you can't make them hear you. It's just not possible. So what we're going to focus on really is the ability that you have to take that recurring feeling. It's like, Mars in Aries for the next 6 months is here on purpose. And it's to show you, it's not doing it to you, but it's to show you what you already have going on inside. So it's like a mirror being held up to say, oh, are you excited about something? You want to start something new? Are you just reigniting passion with your lover? Are you looking to start a new business? Are you excited about a new opportunity because everything got turned upside down? But, you shake stuff in a box and you open it up and you spill it out and you go, well, let me put the pieces back together. How can I get excited about an action? Mars is all about action. Mars in Aries is childlike. We talked about this the other day. It's childlike or it's childish. Now, if it's childish, it's having a temper tantrum. So the temper tantrum is where the complaints come up. And so now I say the next 6 months is going to be really prime. It's like prime real estate. You want to go to that place inside that shows you why you keep attracting the same thing over and over again, is because you have a frequency that you keep outputting. So in order to change that frequency, you need to be aware of what it is that you're complaining about. What are you complaining about? And again, it's not the world, but turn it around and write it on a piece of paper. This person, I did this with a client not too long ago, and I said, okay, give me the thing about your dad. Your dad is, and I said, from the perspective of you growing up, this is a 40-year-old or 42-year-old woman. From the perspective of you growing up as a child, you looked at your father and, oh, totally scared of dad. Okay, why? He was arrogant. Okay, that's one word you write down on your list. What else was Dad? Stubborn, like his thinking was so narrow focused. And I said, okay, then what did that produce? The narrow focused thinking produced what? And she goes, judgment, totally judging everybody and everything in a negative way. And I said, okay, so let's start with these two. So on that list of paper that you have, on the piece of paper that you have with a list of, okay, complain about Dad, judgmental. Are you judgmental? And they stopped for a second and went, oh my gosh, wow, yes, I am. And I said, okay, when, and this is not about judgment against you or anyone who's doing this exercise, it's when are you judgmental? And they had to think about it. And they said, when I'm in a new situation, I don't like what I see people doing, where I know they can be smarter. I know they can be better. And I said, how does that apply to you and your dad? And they were like, I could have had a V8 moment, hitting their head going, oh my God, when I was a kid, I was 6 years old and he was trying to get me to be better and blah, 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 blah. And, he would hit me if I got it wrong. And I was like, okay. So you see, like these complaints, if you can distill them down to a word, a feeling, a sensation, and apply them to something in your childhood, then you have context. Once you have context, you can say, I know now the behavior. So the very next time I want to judge someone or, whatever is on your list, the very next time I want to do that thing, I'm going to stop. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to be as present as possible, and I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to do something that feels compassionate to myself or others. I'm going to do something that feels lighthearted instead of heavy. All right? So do you get the exercise? Does it make sense? I'm going to mix these cards up a little bit. Because Mars in Aries is also lighthearted and fun and spontaneous. The first time my sister ever showed me a game, and the last time she ever showed me a game, was called 52 Pickup. I think I was 6 or 7 years old. She goes, you want to play a game? Because I always bugged her. How come you never want to play with me? You never want to play with me. She's like, okay, you want to play a game? I was like, okay. So we sat on the floor. She goes, this is called 52 Pickup. And she took the cards and she mixed them up and then she threw them in the air and they all fell. And she goes, now it's your job to pick them all up. And then she left the room. That's not a complaint. It's just a funny memory I have. All right. Yes, Casey says, thank you, Rikara. You're one of the heroes. You are. You are, you are, you are. A mom? And you're testing COVID? Thank you. Take extra care of yourself. I know you're a Cancer, right? Or is it a Cancer rising? Casey says, when something doesn't go my way or is too slow, says the person with many, many Aries signs in her chart, I've learned to just tell myself there's a reason for slow or stupid and things will work out way even better. Yes, yes, yes. Sasha says, I totally get the exercise. Can't wait to narrow it down. Yes. I want to sing a song that has the word narrow in it, but I can't find one in my head. The long and winding road, that's not narrow. All right, I'm going to have to find that. Okay. Cancer Sun, Rikara, right, thought so. All right, this is for everybody on how to deal with the complaint. The complaint exercise. Once you get it down, you're going to transform in the moment, and it's going to feel very freeing. It's just another way of saying, wow, I can do something. Once, a long time ago, and maybe I was in grade school. I don't even know. It was so long ago. I was a kid. I remember that. Someone said to me, let me see you fold your hands. So I did, and I folded my hands. Now, let me show you my thumbs. Okay. So I have, right now, my left thumb is over my right thumb, right? And then at the time, it was my hands were folded differently, and my right thumb was over my left thumb. And at the time, they said, let me see you fold your hands. And my right thumb was over my left thumb. And they said, now switch it. Put your left thumb over your right thumb. And I did. And I felt like I stepped into another world. It felt so completely different on my hand. And that's what this exercise is like. You just move one thing, and there's a whole matrix of changes that occur. It's pretty darn cool. All right, here we go. Let's pull a card. In fact, we're going to pull several. I have 2 rooms that I work in, and I think I left a lot of the decks in the other. And if you don't know where Mars is in your chart, Dean can post a link if he's listening, and you can get your free chart. With an actual sun sign reading, you get a free sun sign reading as well, and then consider the $37 upgrade to Life Profile, up to 40, 45 pages, depending on you. Sun sign, rising sign, moon sign, all the planetary placements, and bonuses, and so much more. All right. Gonna make this about the exercise of becoming aware, awareness, productivity, altering that niggly little complaint that you have that is really a projection of something inside of you that feels like a victim or that is fearful of something. So, thank you, universe. Oh, several want to come. There's 1. That's 2. And shall we go for a 3rd? I don't know. No? No. Okay. Let's see what we got. Aw. Come on. My favorite cards. Gratitude. Just be grateful for everything you feel, because it takes you to the next place, if you're paying attention. And then, love. Love. These are, these fractal images are so pretty. This one, gratitude, reminds me of a peacock. I think it's so beautiful. So gratitude. Gratitude is an energy. You can call it appreciation. You can call it compassion. But being grateful for something helps to switch the gears as well. Because you can say, oh, that thing, that person, that la-la, that and then I want you to stop it and switch it to, but I'm so grateful for running water, a bathroom that works, a bed that's so comfortable, someone who cares about me. I'm so grateful for air in my lungs, the promise of a new day, right? Okay, and then because that changes your vibe and helps you to create that frequency of abundance. And then love, this is all kinds of love. Agape, which is brotherly, sisterly, non-binary love. It is from the heart, it is compassion, it's romantic, it's familial, it's friendly. Every morning, well, not every morning, I lied. No, I didn't. I didn't lie. I embellished. Almost every morning, let's say it like that. Almost every morning, I will watch a video on YouTube that has to do with animals. Any kind of animals. This morning I saw, and I'm going to post it here so you can watch it too. It's worth the 12 minutes. It just melted my heart. It's about a baby pig who fell off a truck. True story. And he was rescued. And then about a baby calf who was going to be slaughtered, and he was rescued, and how the two became friends. And I just watched this thing going, oh, I love life. Yes, I love people. Okay, so you can go there. You can go there and have that childlike experience and feel like, yeah, this is so totally worth it. How do I want to serve? What do I want to do? How do I want to help myself and others? And if you're not feeling well, please slow down. Take care of you first, because if you don't, yeah, right? Love and gratitude. I mean, I'm not even going to go for another card deck, because what a great way to end this today. I'm going to be starting a new reading series next week. I'm going to wait till the retrograde is over. So probably next Thursday, maybe. But I'll be back on Monday, and we can talk more about Mars and Aries and what else you can do to really feel happy, and or be in the space that you are and feel your feelings. Mars and Aries doesn't like to feel the deeper, darker stuff, but that's okay. As long as you're aware that it's there, you can do this complaint exercise, transform the energy with love and gratitude. And Ronnie says, ooh, I saw that this morning, Marley. Yes, Marley. Okay, so Thanks for being here, everybody. And thanks for being you. Thank you for being you. And thank you for showing up. And thank you to all the countries. I sent out an email, if you're on my list, I sent out an email to all of the states, -3, I think. I guess Alabama just don't want to hear from me or something. I don't know. But all the states, the countries, the cities that have been supporting me, watching me, etc. Thank you. Thank you so much. I wish you peace, as always. I will see you again on Monday. Have a beautiful weekend. And yeah, go do that exercise and come back and let me know how it worked. Okay, bye-bye.